Hey guys, you're in a nutshell with me, Ina. Saktong-sakto tong topic natin ngayon. Hindi ko inasahan, di ba? May follow-up na agad tayo dun sa ating episode kahapon. Yung earlier episode ko wherein I asked you guys, what do you think will happen sa kako, no? Kung umalis nga talaga ang sinasabing 2 million temporary residents dahil because of these changing policies, sila raw, yan yung estimated bilang ng mga immigrants na nangangambang na baka mawala ng status. Hence, they might end up leaving Canada. So I shared with, in that episode, a Reddit post, raising many points about that idea, na ang pag-alis ba ng mga taong yan, yan ba ang magiging solusyon sa mga problema ng Canada? Okay, specifically in housing, healthcare, wages, etc. So, ang dami po palang mga insightful comments no, nabasa ko kanina. Thank you so much. I will read some of them later. But for now, ito nga, natuwa ako no, nung nag-research ako this morning about what I can talk about today. Ito, parang may sumagot na article. Hindi naman ano. Meron pong isang article talking about that same issue. Specifically, doon sa tanong kung makakabuti ba sa swelduhan yan, dito sa Canada. Tataas ba ang mga sweldo dito sa Canada kapag maraming umalis na mga temporary residents? Or nagkaroon na ba ng effect yung pag-alis nila? Dahil alam naman natin, many people have already actually started leaving. So ito po yan. Meron palang article ang The Globe and Mail. Tignan nyo. Wages to increase as immigration slows, Conference Board says. Ito directly ina-attribute sa immigration policy. Okay, na as we know, again, naghihigpit po ngayon ang Canada sa mga pinapapasok nito. Okay, eto na. Sabi dito, the Conference Board of Canada expects wages or wage hikes will pick up speed in the coming years as the pace of population growth slows down. Yan. I think one good thing also to point out, which was also pointed out in one of the comments dyan dun sa episode ko kahapon, which tama naman, any policy change, may it be on immigration or kung ano man, I don't think we should expect results the next month. Diba? Swerte na kung within the year or the next year. I think results of, changes in immigration policies here in Canada, it will take time. Siyempre naman, it will take time before we see these things happening. The question is if the results are going to be, for the betterment or kailangan pa rin i-tweak. Diba? Anyway, so ang sabi nga dito, tataas ang sweldo, pipick up yung pagtaas ng sweldo in the coming years. Dahil nga, nililimitahan na yung population growth. The think tank, okay, yan po yung Conference Board of Canada, said in a new economic forecast Monday that Canada's labor market has been resilient this year. Oh, that's a good thing. Despite tariff pressures from the US. Tumaas ang unemployment rate, yan sabi dito, 7% in May. Although, overall employment naman daw, ang employment naman daw, tumaas ng 0.3. Kaya siguro sinasabi na kahit papano okay na rin amidst itong economic uncertainties brought about by the tariff issue. Ayan. Pag-usapan natin yung labor force. Siyempre, ito yung directly impacted sa mga pag-alis ng mga temporary foreign workers, international students who also work. Okay, the labor force grew at a slower pace than total employment in the first quarter of 2025. And that's the first time that's happened in more than 2 years. So as a result, kasi nga hindi masyado lumalaki daw yung labor force nitong first quarter ng 2025, businesses are going to struggle to find more talent in the coming years as a result, which, ang sabi ng Conference Board nitong sinaside dito, will force employers to hire more from Canada's existing labor pool. Yan naman ang inaasahan din natin, di ba? So, ang mangyayari again, more competition among businesses for scarce workers will drive up Canadians' pay. Dahil nga, limitado na lang ngayon ang pagkukuhaan ng workers. Okay? Ang ina-assume kasi, maraming mababakanting trabaho with less available workers, mapipilitan ng mga employers daw na kahit papano magtaas ng kanilang pasahod. Yan, okay. I hope it happens. No, I hope it happens. Sabi dito, this shift in labor market dynamics from excess labor supply to growing labor shortages will put upward pressure on wages over the next few years, keeping wage growth above the inflation rate. So ayun, sinagot din yung ating tanong. Abangan natin, ano? Well, it will take a while, as mentioned, as expected. Siyempre, it will take a while. Tapos, ito na rin guys, so lumabas naman din ito sa aking research. Tungkol naman sa housing, okay? I had an episode 2 months ago yata, no, talking about how rent prices have started going down. Okay? I know in that episode, yung comment section dun, ano, parang nagdududa yung iba, hindi ko naman ramdam yan, hindi totoo yan, fake news yan. But, you know, yan po ay data from yung mga nagpapalist na mga rental properties. Okay. But now, I will share this one with you naman. About 2 weeks ago pa pala to. Pero sabi rin pala dito, Canada's housing prices are dropping. Totoo ba? Dropping. What does that mean for us? For the first time in many years, home prices in Canada are going down. In November 2024, the average home cost about $700,000. Now, it's fallen to around $689. So, medyo maliit pa lang naman ang binababa. Yun nga lang guys, hindi po sinasabi dito kung yan po ba ay dahil sa issue ng immigration, sa pagbabago ng policy sa immigration. Because as we know, meron pa pong ibang factor at play dito po sa housing market. If you also have read some reports, sinasabi po kasi na marami mga tao na bumili at very low interest rates during the pandemic. Nako, at ngayon na ang panahon ng kanilang refinance. Ngayon, they are faced with higher interest rates at nahihirapan daw yung iba to cope up doon sa kailangan nilang bayaran kung i-adjust po nila yan. Kaya marami din daw pong nagbebenta, which means maraming supply ngayon ng bahay sa market, which could be bringing prices low or keeping them low, competitive, kumbaga. Pero sige, tuloy natin itong article na to. Sabi dito, some types of homes like condos and detached houses have lost nearly 10% of their value. Sabi nung nagsulat ng article, for renters like me, this could be good news. In Toronto daw, the average rent for a one-bedroom apartment noong June 2025 was about $2,200. That's almost 400 less than it was in October 2023. Ngayon daw, landlords are eager to find tenants and there are stories of rent discounts and $500 lease bonuses, leaving renters with extra money for food, daycare, and other expenses. So if you talk about the time frame na pinag-usapan dito nung nagsulat, ano, hindi pa po yan covered. Kumbaga, hindi pa nararamdaman sa mga panahon na yan, yung data na yan, yung paghihigpit sa immigration. So, I don't think this is caused by that, itong pagbababa. Ito pong decline in rent prices na tinutukoy niya. Nonetheless, you know, this could be a good starting point, hindi po ba? Malay nyo, because of the vacancies brought about by people leaving Canada, there's a high probability, I would say, that the increase in supply will keep rents low. I hope so. But again, these are things that we will have to see. Remains to be seen pa yan. Okay? Hintay-hintay muna tayo. Okay, puntahan po natin yung mga nag-comment. Ang dami, no? Pipili na lang po ako ng ilan. Maraming salamat sa inyo. I love seeing very opinionated people in the comment section. No? Yan po ang gusto natin talaga makita. So sabi dito ni Reality Bites, ito yung inaasahan niya mangyari kung umalis ang 2 million temporary residents. More jobs for new PR and citizens, quality of life, less crimes, less traffic, less fraud. All caps pa siya sa fraud, ano? Ito naman, si Rosario, more job opportunities for their own citizens, more housing and renting opportunities for their own citizens, lesser issues of discrimination, better opportunities of benefits for their own citizens, less corruption, human trafficking, less hate crimes, envy, leading to more peaceful living of their own citizens. Ayan. Thank you, Rosario. Ito naman si Gutsy o Gutsy TV. Cost of living and wage stagnation go way beyond TFWs. It's not about blaming them. It's about fixing a broken system. Sabi niya, props to employers who keep hiring and keep the economy moving despite inflation and recession pressure. Ito naman si Pat. Sabi niya, honestly, nakakalungkot kasi pakinabangan na raw sila. Nakuha na yung pera, like for tuition ng international students and fees for immigration documents. Now, pinapaalis na at sinisisi sa kanila lahat ng blunder ng mistakes nila and poor planning na in-announce during the pandemic, yung immigration targets. Maling-mali. Kasi hindi prepared ang Canada for it, tapos kamuha pa ng maraming refugees. Thank you, Pat. Si Robocop, ayan, sabi niya, Canadian companies in general don't pay high salaries compared to the US. And many have adopted the system of hiring temps to avoid paying benefits. I would agree, no? Kaya nga siguro marami rin mga Canadians ang lumilipat dyan sa US. Thank you, Robocop. Sinetsky, that's happening in my workplace. Ito na, no? I think na-discuss ko dun sa episode yung dahil mababawasan ng mga TFW mga employers at yung iba raw hindi afford magtaas ng sweldo, mapupwersa daw na kumbaga dagdagan ng trabaho yung existing workforce nila. So sabi ni Netsky, that's happening in my workplace. It is physical work. Works of 2 to 3 workers assigned to me. Ang resulta daw, nako ito na, multiple injury because of body overuse. On sick leave daw siya, nako get well soon. My area, other workers will cover. Nako, yun. Si Muscle Rehab, there can be more jobs for citizens and PRs, pero how can they be enticed to move away from areas na mataas yung unemployment rate or sa rural areas? Employers should give much higher pay sa mga citizens and PRs sa mga rural areas. Less pay if they will be in areas na mataas ang unemployment rate. Wow, iba naman to. Okay. Pero kung mawawala ang big chunk ng TFW, for sure matataranta na naman ang Canadian immigration, then hahayaan na naman nila ang milyon-milyong unskilled workers na makapasok. Never ending, isn't it? Nako, it is a cycle. Ano ba yan? Be like Mike. Hi, Mike. Personally, sabi niya, a drastic immigrant departure might temporarily ease some visible pressures like housing and job market, but it would create far deeper issues, sabi niya, especially in labor, economic productivity, and demographics. Sabi niya, kailangan ng Canada strategic investment, efficient governance, and modernized infrastructure. Because reducing immigration without addressing these is like turning down the radio to ignore a noisy engine. Ba? May ganun pang analogy. I like that, Mike. Thank you. Sabi niya, it might seem better for a moment, but the real issue under the hood is still there. Okay. Last na lang. Nako, ito si Alkulili. May suggestion daw siya. Talakayin ko rin daw yung Tim's tsaka McDonald's kasi sila raw talaga ang nakinabang sa TFW at student visa program. You're not the only one. Anong name mo ulit? You're not the only one, Al, na nagsasabi sa akin yan. May mga nagpi-PM sa akin actually na mga medyo problemadong TFWs employed by big restaurants, fast food chains. But anyway, ang hirap eh. I've been trying to find some articles about that. Specifically, about how fast food chains benefited, kumbaga, or used the temporary foreign worker program. Pero help me kung meron kayo. Maybe we can talk about it. I'd love to. But for now, yun lang naman ang ating episode muna. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!